Welcome to the Write Your Own Story podcast. I'm your host, Betsy Leonidas, and the founder of the Write Your Own Story company. Girl, I can tell you right now, you are definitely enough. Here we value service, sisterhood, connection, laughter, and that super genuine, keep it real, tell you like it is honesty. My hope is at the end of each episode, you realize you can do whatever it is you dream about and that you are not alone with what you struggle with. I'm hoping that you are snapping and clapping and hell yes in your way through each one of these episodes. So if this tracks with you, let's get started. I'm so glad you're here. All right, everyone. Welcome back to the latest episode of the Write Your Own Story podcast. I am your host, Betsy Leonidas, and I'm so excited to be here with the hilarious, super talented, so much fun, Chrissie Blatt. Chrissie, thank you for being here.
Well, I'm here.
Everybody buckle up.
Strap in. It's going to be wild.
I got a warm-up call yesterday that was amazing.
Well, I feel like a little bit of background's always a good, makes for a good podcast.
It sure does. I am obsessed with your energy. You are so authentic and so fun, and you keep it real, and your energy is at a high octane, which is how I love to run as well. So I super, super appreciate it. And I wanted you on the show because you run two badass big businesses here in Cincinnati, Chrissie Blatt Creative, which is all around the events, and then Balloon Bombed, which did that start during COVID? I'm going to let you tell that story. Anyway, you spread so much joy, beauty, energy. Your creativity just like oozes out of you. And what I just feel like so many women must look at your businesses, myself included, be like, I want to do that. That looks fun, which I know it is so much work and we'll get into that too. But I was like, you'd just be such a great entrepreneur story to bring on. And I love your perspective and your candid nature.
Well, I'm happy to share all the good, the bad, and the ugly. So
right. Because that's what we do here. We keep it real. Yeah. Okay. So what the intention for this show, for this particular episode is we're all around encouraging women to find the joy and infuse joy in their life. Cause I really do feel like your creativity and your businesses infuse joy in all situations, but with a healthy dose of reality.
100%.
We were joking before we started recording that like you have to cultivate and mine for joy. And we were just over here like miming, bam, bam.
And like sifting, sorting, but with readers because neither one of us can see anything.
No. We're like, did you find it? Did you find it?
We found something, but it wasn't gold.
But really, truly, like I think that's one of the cool things about your business is that it is so creative and you get to do that kind of expression. But like in all reality, in life, at this age, we all have to work hard to be happy and find joy. I am born sunny side up. I am born an optimistic, happy person. That doesn't mean I still don't have to work for it. So yeah. So those are all the things we're going to talk about here today. I'm so excited. I'm putting my coffee down because I want to make big hand gestures and it's limiting me to only one. But can you just tell us, how'd you get started?
So it's kind of a long journey.
Yeah, I love long stories.
I went to college to be an art teacher.
Oh, no way.
So I've always wanted to create something. Creativity is, in my blood. I love color. I love design. I love beautiful things. Yeah. I didn't end up teaching. And as time went on, people would ask me like, could you volunteer and help me with this? And like galas and things. And I started working on some projects with the Ronald McDonald House and therefore started working on their gala. Yeah. And as time went on, people would say to me, can I pay you to help me with my events? So,
wow.
I mean, obviously it takes a little bit of a learning curve to figure it all out, but within a couple years, I was doing events, not full time because my kids were very young.
Yeah.
But taking on a little bit here and there. And then as the years started to roll by, sort of found a niche in more of the nonprofit and parent bar mitzvahs and social events. Yeah. And it just kind of took on a mind of its own.
So when you do the event planning piece, are you like basically the quarterback for the event, bringing in all the various vendors?
That's definitely how it started. I would say now, as like I have grown into myself and know what parts of it I like and I don't like. Yeah. I'm really more focused on the design, the activation, the visuals, and letting some of those pieces that are maybe more logistical fall to another person. And I think that's the benefit of being a little bit older is like doing the parts that you want and like knowing yourself and knowing that that part is not bringing you joy.
Yes.
And trying to find someone else to do it.
I'm obsessed with that answer because I feel like as hard, is like so truly hard as entrepreneurship is, it is the opportunity to just do what you love. and to trim the fat on everything
100%.
else. And that's what keeps you showing up on all the hard days, on the sick days, although we should also just like be sick and rest, but like, you know what I mean? That's what keeps you
But
going.
you're allowed to do that?
I know. I'm like, no, literally. But yeah, I think that's amazing that you're like, actually, I've done this long enough that I don't like this part. So I'm not doing this part anymore.
I mean, I'm not saying I do it all well. And I'm not saying I don't still do those parts, because also letting go and control of something that you've been doing yourself for a long time is also scary.
Yeah.
And also, if you're not taking that aspect on, you're paying somebody else to do it. So it's a whole nother level of entrepreneurship, is managing others.
Yes. Others cost. Yeah. But oh my gosh, especially you're so right. When you start it all yourself, it is so hard to let go of the pieces, but especially in an event where like it is truly a culmination of many small parts.
I'm not saying I do it well. I'm just saying I do it sometimes.
Yeah. I've seen your events. You do it well. Yeah. But that's so honest and so amazing. Okay. So then how did Balloon Bomb come along?
So I think we all during COVID had transitions maybe within our careers, our family life. I don't know if you guys remember, it was like Card Your Yard. Everybody was doing that.
Yes.
And my events were all getting canceled because of social distancing or whatever. So, you know, hotels were, everything was closed. And I was like, I can do something, because I do believe, like, if you're a creator, you must be creating all the time.
Yeah.
Those adult coloring books was not like, that was not happening. Like, people would like bring me one and I'm like down there with my colored pencils, like trying to like shade it. Like, it's supposed to be calming. No, I was like popping off in my kitchen.
I bet.
Like, it was taking me an hour to like color a turtle. So I had to find something else to do. And I do think a lot of us during COVID learned new skills. Yeah. Some people cooked, you know, everyone's looking for yeast or whatever. Right. I'm not a baker. I don't want to be a baker. I have no interest in that. But I did think like I could probably do balloons, because I had been ordering balloons from amazing vendors throughout Cincinnati for years for my events. So I was like, I can do that. Yeah. And I think I did. I think I figured it out.
I think you literally did. I think every single event that makes its way in my feed in Cincinnati has your balloons in them.
Well, I try. I mean, I really like to be out there doing the things. And I would have never thought that I'd be like a ballooner and go to like balloon conferences and have balloon friends and be part of like balloon podcasts and be part of like balloon infrastructure and like ideation. Like it's a thing. Oh, balloon people we're unhinged, but we love each other, and it's a great community to be at throughout the United States.
That's unbelievable. Okay. How do we feel like balloons turned into this like nationwide community? This is awesome.
Well, so, I mean, I can only speak to this industry because I don't know how other people share information, but I think I have found that the community through Instagram or however you're communicating with other vendors throughout the United States has been probably the most helpful, connecting, kind, responsive, and it's mostly similar, like-minded women. Yeah. So cool. I would say we all share the same struggles. It's like, misery loves company, but like, it's so great to have those professionals that are living it. And if you were to, like, we all speak the same language, and I'm actually part of a mastermind group of some other balloon people throughout the United States. And we meet every week and we just have a topic and we troubleshoot it. Oh my God, and it's just, my husband will like joke, like, well, do you have your like secret balloon meeting? I'm like, yeah, I actually do. And it is a secret. So leave me alone. Like,
you're like, you don't get to come.
We're talking about balloon things. And I mean, I know to the outsider, they would probably be annoyed to listen to us, but like, we all get it. And there's no cooler group than to be able to like, this is happening in my life today. Like, I have a 911 balloon emergency. Yeah. And they all respond with their suggestions and would be willing to help in a second. Like, I guarantee you, if tomorrow, God forbid, I like went out and broke my leg, one of them would come do my jobs for me.
I literally have goosebumps head to toe. Nice. That is so, and I just feel like what we all crave truly since COVID, but even still, however many years since, is community. And like, we all are time starved, but crave connection and community. And how cool is that you have, like, just through like the happenstance of the world shutting down, you being like, you know what, I'm going to literally light this coloring book on fire. So I'm going to go do something at a greater scale that brings me greater joy, because this brings me nothing. And like, coming out of that, the connections, the friendships, the networks, the growth of your business is exponential. I think that is so freaking cool. Hell yeah, balloon people. Yeah. Oh, that's really, really cool and really
I don't
special.
know if other communities have that. I'm sure they do. But I mean, like, I can tell you, I've never sent a DM to another balloon person that they didn't respond to.
Yeah.
Or call me and say, like, how do you do this? Or if I, put something up on my social and somebody messages me, like, I really do try to help anyone who needs it.
I think that's
to
amazing.
Like achieve it, especially if that's something that they're interested in. And I'll like send something to somebody and they'll be like, a month later, send me a screenshot of something that they did. They're like, look, I did it. And I mean, in a weird way, like, it's just like that kind of satisfaction about like, not only do you like create something visually that you like to see and you're proud of, but you're getting paid for it.
Yeah.
And then people recognize that it's good. And what do they say? Like, imitation is the biggest form of flattery. Yeah. So like if somebody does something that maybe it was something that, I created and they copy it and put their own twist on it, makes me so happy that they thought it was good enough. So, there's all those levels of things that with throughout the business, but it's those connections, and it's 90% women. I mean, I'm not going to say there aren't balloon men, but
yeah, well,
not many.
Balloon men are welcome.
They're welcome. Yes,
okay.
Please come, but I don't know where you are. So
I'm going to take us on a little bit of a tangent because I'm obsessed with this topic. One of the things that I think women run into, I'm sure men do as well, with starting businesses, is this whole like, oh my God, imposter syndrome is like the worst thing ever, right? But how that translates into business is 1,000 ways. One of which is someone goes to get into a category, a crowded category, balloons, crowded category, right? Podcasting, crowded category. And they're like, this person does it better. This person is already so established. This person, this. And what I'm obsessed with, these balloon people, I just want to dial in. I don't want to do balloons, but I just want to be a part of that community, is that like, there's room for everyone to succeed. You guys fully embrace that there are hearts, minds, dollars, eyeballs, discretionary spend for everyone. And I love that. And that also for you to just say like, oh yeah, I created something and someone just copied it, and that's the biggest form of flattery. So many people would be so pissed.
Well, I mean, I'm not going to say if somebody didn't like tell me they were going to do it or credit it and they, spun it as their own, I might get a little twisty inside. But at the same time, I do think that like it is very common in the industry, like broad, that you tag each other and like it doesn't matter, like, and the consumer doesn't care,
right?
They want something beautiful and it matches whatever they're doing. Like they don't really care where the idea came from. And I mean, what is the original idea anyway, right? Like I don't even know. Like we'll talk and be like, we think we came up with some great idea, and I'm like, oh, there's 2 balloon ladies somewhere else having this exact same conversation or more. So in the end, I mean, who really came up with the idea? I don't know, but it's nice to have somebody say, or it was inspired by.
Yeah. I love that. This is a really cool community. Okay. So going back to COVID, and you're like, okay, I'm not allowed to like look at anyone, touch anyone, talk to anyone, but like, I'm going to do these installations. How did you get started? Like, I mean, you have used balloon people as vendors before, but like, I remember you came over and you did this installation outside the boys' playroom.
I remember it was sort of like Lego colored, inspired.
It was so cool. And they were 5 and their little pitter pattery feet came running in where all their like, they had like big Legos and Hot Wheel things were set up in their playroom, and they were just in awe of like this really cool setup. But like just the intricacies of like, you were a well-oiled machine by that time. And it was like this tape that you like, it's, the plastic thing that you shove all the balloons in, and like you had your pumper filler upper and you already had your design.
My pumper filler upper.
Yeah. I'm sure you guys say that in the community. I think that's pretty technical. Pumper filler upper. But like, it was just so operational, and I wouldn't expect anything less, but for someone who's never installed balloons before, but who loves business, who is not great at operations, but really appreciates operations, I was just like in absolute awe. I was like, this is so cool. This is just like, I mean, you were literally like, boom, boom, boom. I mean, it was just unbelievable. So how did you get to that well-oiled machine part from? Well,
for sure, lots of trial and error.
Yeah.
And a lot of practice.
Yeah.
And a lot of people saying like, okay, I'll try it. And this is a fun thing that we do in our like little balloon groups, is we'll be like, look at the first thing I did. And we'll be like, oh my God, it's so bad. You suck.
Yeah. It's awesome.
Or the thing that you thought was like the most earth shattering thing. And you were like, that was the one. I knew I was so good at it. And then we all laugh and we're like, you suck. But like, it's really fun to go back to that camera roll and like, look at like, where you've come.
Yeah. Ooh, what was your first one?
My first one was at my own house. I made my kids stand outside. It was like some party city.
Genius.
Like it was just horrible.
No, tell us more about the horridness.
It just, when I go back and look at it,
totally.
It was bad. I mean, like, but at the time, this concept of like balloon garlands and like it not just being your typical party city stuff, it was still evolving. Like
Absolutely.
that part of the industry, I mean, from where we started to where it is now, like I'm not going to I don't consider myself the best balloon person in the world. There are people that are doing absolutely outrageous stuff with balloons. Like I
want to like pour myself
a
glass of wine and go on like an internet deep dive. To
some
look
of the
this
stuff is just, it's mind blowing.
So cool.
And extremely high end and not just for kids parties. So, I mean, the first one to like something that I would do now, like I have to laugh, but it also like, it's a really good reminder of like the journey, even though like I really did think it was so good. And now I'm like, my assistant and I always stand back and we always go, this is so good.
Yeah, right. Isn't that the best feeling where you're like, damn, this is so good. And
then like after an install, we like, you know, send each other pictures. Like we were literally at the same install and we took the same pictures. I'm texting her and she's texting me and I'm like, oh, this is so good.
I love that. But what I love is for you to be able to be like, yeah, my first one sucked
so bad.
To be clear, that's where everyone starts. Everyone sucks when they start. And that is the hardest part about starting a business, is that you suck at it. And then
sometimes you don't even know you suck at it.
Yeah.
That's the harder part.
That's the dangerous part.
I thought it was good. And now I look back and I'm like, but at the time it was good. And I'm just grateful that I've grown, right? If I was doing the same exact thing now.
Yeah.
And I think when I look at other people in the industry that haven't really grown, I feel like those are the people that like, they're just not going to find the success that they're looking. If that's what they're looking for is to have long-term, you know, business or whatever, you have to keep growing and you have to keep innovating and trying things and winging it a little bit.
Yeah. And with that, like comes a lot of cost on the floor. I don't know about you, but for the businesses that I've started, it takes a minute to become profitable. So like, not only do you feel like you suck, you're also not making money from the jump. And that is like, I always say starting a business is like a universal assignment, because you have to sit in such discomfort.
It's forever.
Truly.
Forever.
There's some sort of spiritual assignment that is coming to smack you in the face to be like, you actually need to like detach your value from the money you make, or you need to, whatever it may be.
And when you kind of start off with something, right? Like you might start, cause I thought like I needed my own joy.
Yeah.
Like COVID, I didn't have a lot of joy from it. And so obviously no one was having joy from COVID, but mean, I didn't have something that was bringing me joy. So I kind of felt like maybe I could bring others joy and that would bring me joy. And it did.
Yeah.
But then the crazy thing happens and then it becomes a job.
Yeah. You're like, oops, I did it again.
Yeah. I mean, then it became a job and now it's a career. So, you know, it was fun when we were like, I'm just going to run down here to Madeira and put up a little balloon garland for $100. But now, it's not that.
No. Can you tell people what it is now? Because it is huge.
Yeah, it is 100% not that. You know, I was telling you earlier that I had, you know, had a day with a high school student that came by and she was like asking me a shadow day, asking me all about the business. And when somebody who doesn't know anything about it and is young and doesn't really think about all of the aspects of being an entrepreneur, and saying all the words out loud made me realize, like, one, I was proud of myself because I did do all those things, but also like, no wonder I feel like I'm suffocating all the time. No wonder I feel like the walls are closing in sometimes. And that like, while we might have those moments in our day where my assistant and I stand back and go, oh God, so good. Those feelings get overcome very quickly with, while we were installing, I got 74 emails and these aren't birthday parties. These are corporate activations. And these are people that demand time and respect and details. And you can't be unhinged when you're talking to them and have your dogs barking in the background. And it's that like persona that you're putting out to the world. You have to maintain it all the fucking time, all the time. You can't let it down. And it's just,
it's exhausting.
It's exhausting. And nobody can like tell you to turn it off in your head. And people say, oh, just calm down. Don't do so much. Well, I mean, we all know me. I'm not going to do that. I'm going to take it. But at the same time, like, I mean, it's literally at sometimes like debilitating because of how much there is to do. And I know that I chose it. Like, I know that I chose it and I'm not complaining and I'm so grateful. God damn.
I know.
Like sometimes it's just like, you know, I have an assistant I have to pay and I have all these people. And the one thing about the event business and the balloons and anything in this market is it is tied to a date.
Right.
Every single thing is
There's
tied
no
to a
wiggle
day.
room. Yeah.
Sometimes it's tied to multiple, like it might be raining, so then it has to go inside. So there's all this logistics that run with it. And, you know, balloons, I can't like build them 7 months in advance and have them sitting somewhere. So there's a lot of timing and logistics that run with it. And that piece is literally like my least favorite piece, but it is the most important piece. And you asked me like, how did I get so efficient at it? How did I get good at it? Is running logistics. And that is like a mom skill.
Yeah. Oh my God.
Like,
right.
I got to go here and then you're going to go here and we're going to take this down and go here. And it's just, sometimes I feel like I can't breathe because that piece is so hard. God. And it'll just take one client to be like, just kidding. We moved our event from Thursday to Friday, where like I was going to go visit my son in college on Friday. And now like, what am I going to just like not do it?
Right.
I mean, I don't have an army. And I think that that's also the smoke and mirrors of it all is like, you know, it's like the Wizard of Oz behind the curtain. Like there isn't 50 of me behind the curtain. There's only one.
Yeah.
And if I don't do it, nobody's doing it.
Right.
When I'm sick, nobody does the work. I mean, yeah, I have help, but like I have to ask for it. And that's the other piece that's super hard. It's hard to ask for help. And I am a control freak. And that's okay.
Yeah, it's
that's
totally
what
okay.
Also sometimes makes the business successful is that I keep my hands in it and I have expectations and I want to meet the expectations of my clients. So,
well, because like you said, it's not only the install of the balloon where you stand back and you're like, damn, that's good. It is every touch point that sits behind it and sits ahead of it. So it's the calls that you are dressed, prepared on Zoom with your logistics already planned so you can answer all the questions with no dogs barking in the background, no sick kids.
Or maybe they are.
I know, right? Sick kids puking, but you're like, just, I'll be there in 20 minutes. I don't know about you, but I've had that multiple times where I'm like, I'm really sorry. I have to hop on the phone. Here's a bucket. Like, I'm
like, just stay out, just out the door.
Yeah. But then, so that's all the stuff that sits behind it. Then you have to like land all the planes, right? I feel like any mom you could blindfold us and we could just be air traffic control.
We can do it.
Not to diminish what air traffic control does, but like if you're all sick, my recommendation is to call mom. That's all. That's
we can figure it out.
We'll figure it out. Oh my God, it's tangent because they're my favorite. Have you seen the reel that's floating around where it's Reese Witherspoon and she's accepting an award and she was talking about women's roles and, you know, her whole thing is around creating other things. And she's like, how many scripts have I read where a woman is like, what are we going to do? And she's like, what woman has ever said that?
No.
What woman has ever
said no woman ever.
Right. And then they cut together like 20 movies where women, these amazing leading lady actresses are like, what are we going to do? And it's like, no, every woman's like, I'll figure it out. So when you get the, like, we've moved the event by a day, your whole house of cards comes crumbling down
and we just figure it out.
You just rebuild it.
Somehow it always works out, but that doesn't mean that there's not like collateral damage.
Yeah.
In the end, like when I go through at the end of the night and I go back and look through my Instagram stories to like remind myself that it was good. Yeah. Even though I'm like depleted and like dead inside.
Yep.
I think to myself, like, how did we get there? We pulled it off. I mean, we've yet to like totally bomb it.
Yep.
No pun intended.
No pun intended.
Yeah. But we've so far, we've always been able to pull it together. And I am grateful for my Cincinnati friends that will like, listen, I feel like if I had to call you tomorrow and be like, oh, babe, you're putting on this balloon vest. We're fucking doing it.
I would be like,
we don't know how to do it, but we're doing it. We would do it.
Yep. Without a doubt.
But that's also like me getting a little bit better about saying like, you're not going to be able to do that by yourself.
Yeah. Which, I mean, that is a whole life lesson in itself for people who have just been born or created to be hyper independent. It's really, we often make the best business leaders, but it's really, really hard to ask for help. It's hard to build a team because you're just like, I can do it on myself. I can do it at the caliber. It's just complicated.
Well, and it's sort of like when you're thinking about business, like, adding more people also means that you have to sell more. Mm-hmm. So there's also the pressure of now like having to take on more business to pay them to make it profitable.
Yep.
And these are all things that like, I mean, I never even really thought about. until probably the last maybe 3 years of really trying to be like, look at profitability and look at margins and like what amount of joy does it bring for the money and for like what you're not doing. Because if you're doing this, you're not doing something else.
Yeah.
And if you're getting joy here, you're probably not getting joy somewhere else. So the balance is super bad.
Yeah.
But so bad.
Thank you for saying
Do you
that.
like that word? It's just bad. The balance is bad.
Because it just doesn't exist. Like you said, it's constantly a trade-off.
Yeah.
Constantly a trade-off.
And it's usually like this. It's not usually like this. It's usually like one thing is really crushing it and the other thing is absolutely bombing.
Yep. Like if you are killing, I don't know about you, but if I'm killing it in business and I'm like booked and busy and whatever, my house is a disaster. There are just the amount of mini piles is dangerous. Lots of mini piles. I'm like, it's fine. There's so many mini piles. And then I can never tackle the mini piles or just, I don't know. Or like you're saying, if you staff up because you're like, okay, I need to downshift a little bit. I've staffed up. Well, there go your margins, or then you have to dive deeper into selling. So there went your rest period because you're like, well, now I'm selling.
You literally can't win.
No.
And then not trying to be dramatic, but then you've got these people like, oh, just take a break.
Take a break.
Take a break. It'll be fine. Just take some time off for yourself.
No.
Okay. Well, first of all, I'm not going to do that.
Right.
Because this does bring me joy. While it also brings me lots of anxiety.
Yeah.
It's good.
Yeah.
And it's good to be uncomfortable.
Yes.
And it's good to build something that you can be proud of. So I know that those things are happening. But I mean, takes its toll on my personal life, my health, like just time management of like being able to be present.
Yes.
I mean, I'm just going to be honest with you. I'm hardly present in anything because it's just, there's too many pieces. My phone's buzzing, the emails are going, my kids are calling me, I have to pick up the dogs. Like all of those other duties didn't go away.
Yeah.
And I mean, behind the curtain, I mean, definitely not crushing all those pieces, but it looks like it sometimes.
Yeah. But no one is.
My Instagram looks really good on balloons and events. But if it was like an Instagram of like the inside of my personal life, it would be like carcass, but it's hard.
It is hard.
And I don't know. I still look on social media and we all have those friends that post 150 pictures of every single vacation that everyone's perfectly dressed. And I'm like, oh my God, can we stop?
I literally just said to my parents, for Easter, we were either going to go to my parents' farm and with my brother and his wife and his kids, or we were going to go out to Easter brunch. And I was like, we just have to make the decision because I got to find clothes that fit my kids for Easter brunch if we're going to go.
So we don't look totally unhinged.
I mean, literally, because I have 3 boys, but there's like Adeline's in the middle. So it's not like if nothing fits the twins, if they put something on of Hayden's on, it still goes down to their knees. And Hayden is like, if my best friend called him a Great Dane recently, he's like, so tall all of a sudden. And so I'm like, I've got nothing for you. Adeline keeps growing like a weed. And then by the time it's time to go get you dressed, forget it.
No,
forget it.
You're wearing the same thing, your old go-to that you've been wearing for 7 years.
That you hate. That you've hated for 7 years.
Just wearing that.
Just wearing
Or even if you did buy something, like now you're like, don't even want to wear it.
No, totally. Because I don't have time to do my hair. I don't feel cute in it. Yeah. I know. But yeah, I don't know. My point is that everyone is a hot mess. Social media doesn't help because I do like to go back through my old stories and be like, that was fun. Or look at these pictures. Vacation was good. I don't want to think about us trotting through the airport, trying to get on
everybody screaming at each other, sweating.
The trips to Target that you had to take because you forgot stuff. Like, I don't know. Life is so messy, but I think just having the perspective and having your honest opinion of being like, if I am doing well in some area, some other area is not doing well, is truly like being hindered from it. And I think that goes back to our point of like sitting in the uncomfortable and accepting the uncomfortable and being present, which is really hard, but is so important to be like, I love that you take the pictures and send it back and forth with your sister. And you're like, damn, that was good. So good. That was so good. Because that's what reminds you that like what you just did was so worth it because it brings you so much joy. If you're building your dream business and you know you need to build an email list, but the idea of picking and using an email platform totally overwhelms you, trust me, I get it. But I've got you, girl. Flowdesk is where it's at. Flowdesk is the email marketing platform designed with female entrepreneurs in mind. Think gorgeous, on-brand templates plus powerful workflows that save you hours. I promise you, I've never used an easier email platform with such stunning results. Whether you're sending an email launching a new offer or podcast episode, sharing new news, or trying out a fancy workflow to convert a new email subscriber into a paying customer, Flowdesk helps you show up professionally with ease without spending a ton of time or money. And not to mention, these emails are gorgeous. And because you're a Write Your Own Story podcast listener, you get an exclusive 50% off your first year of Flowdesk. Plus, they'll send you $19 cash back when you join using the link in the show notes. So if you're ready to send stunning emails that convert and actually enjoy the process, click the link in the show notes and give Flowdesk a try. That's 50% off your first year plus $19 back in your pocket. Check out Flowdesk today. It's like your super talented email writing best friend. I promise you won't regret it. Now, back to the episode. Thank you for so much of your candor of like what it is like to run a business, because it's a hot mess.
Hot mess.
Hot mess.
Well, so I will say that like most of the people that I follow that I really like are the ones that like share the reality. I don't need to see every single thing about your reality, but just that like, I mean, I do try to put authentic content in my stories about like, you know, the fun that we're having, us doing crazy things like, oh my God, we spilled smoothies all over the van and now the balloons and we're like wiping them off in the back with baby wipes. Like that happens.
It
like,
happens.
I mean, and you know, even with all the events, like I usually don't download with my client until like a week later where I'm like, well, actually the caterer totally forgot the salmon and like they were like fish fillets from McDonald's. You didn't even know about it, but like we just bought those and we went with it. Like, I don't know, whatever it is. Like, I try to like, you know, minimize it with the client, but behind the scenes.
And like, that's kind of one of the things that I love about event planning is like, as damaged as I can only imagine what your nervous system is from having to pull off these major feats at all times, doesn't it really teach you to just roll with it? You're like, I literally don't have a choice. We will be fish fillets. We're
just going to do it.
Yeah.
We're going to put some sauce on it.
Some tartar sauce.
But that's the one thing, like, we talk about like asking for help in the event industry, like the team is so important. And we have such great vendors in Cincinnati that like, I do like to handpick my team because there are certain people that I know are just going to show up.
Yeah.
And if I'm like failing, because in an event, like, I mean, it really is, if you fail, we all fail. Like that is the truth. And I really don't want to work with people that like won't pull their weight or in an emergency situation, be willing to help others. Because we all want to look good and we want our client to be happy and we all want to get paid. But if one thing is really screwed up, like the whole event's going to suffer and no one's going to remember how good the food was because the AV was bad. So like everybody has to pull their weight.
Yeah.
So I do feel like though at the end, when you're doing your Instagram post, you're trying to remember everyone on the event, you're trying to tag everybody and find all their, social media handles. You're like, God, that was a good team.
Yeah.
When people are like, teamwork makes the dream work. I'm so cheesy, but it really does. And I feel grateful to have such good creative partners that like help me, inspire me, and like would not let me fall off a cliff. God. Or if I did, they would like jump over and help me pull back up. And I feel like a lot of people are like that in the industry. This industry, can't speak to anyone else, but we do take good care of each other, I think, because a lot of them are small businesses or just individuals that like, just, you can't always do it by yourself.
No. And everyone is trying to hustle. Everyone is trying to do their best work, but everyone has a life and life is going to life. I really have this like innate feeling that I felt probably since coming out of COVID, that as hard and divided and heavy as the world is, there has been this shift, especially amongst women where like, so I am a corporate baby. Like I worked in corporate for 15, almost 20 years where like women were just like, I will slash your tires to get to the finish line first. I'm not going to say it out loud, but I certainly will.
Feeling it on the inside.
Oh yeah. And like actively, secretly doing it. And that's not everybody, but it's certainly, that's the low level energy that so many of us often felt. Maybe it was just the industries that I was in or whatever it may be. That said, that's why when I was 4 kids, 4 and under, as a consultant, flying back and forth to New York, to Chicago, to Austin. Too much. And then I'm like, why are people trying to slash my tires? I was like, enough. And that's when I was like, I'm just working for myself from here on out. But long story long, I really feel like the earth that we're all shifting to really like help each other out and to give each other grace and to be able to like to want to be a helper and to be like and to understand that, like you were saying before, it feels really good to help somebody. Like when your balloon peeps are like, oh my God, smoothie spill. What do I do? What do I do? SOS. Like seriously, these like hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of dollars, thousands of dollars of balloons now are literally covered in smoothie. Like what the actual fuck do I do? Yeah. You're like baby wipes or whatever.
Here's what we're going to do.
Yeah. Here's what we're going to do.
And I do, when people are always like community over competition. I mean, I'm just going to be honest. It's not not always, most of the time.
Yeah.
There are aspects where like there are big jobs and you want it. Mm-hmm. I'm not going to slash someone's tires for it, but at the same time, like competition is good because it also propels you forward.
Yeah.
And I did have somebody, I was complaining one time about like a competitor, and one of my friends was like, actually, I really don't want to hear you talking about it. If you don't like it, then you should do better.
Ooh.
You should be better. You should push harder. Don't worry about what they're doing. You become better. Yeah. And I was like, you're supposed to tell me that, like,
I know,
screw her.
Yeah.
You know, like she's tux, whatever.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I was like, that sat with me for a long time. Yeah. So even if you do have a competitor, you don't have to compete with them. You can just
level up,
take off.
And like, I feel like that's also one of those things that this is a life lesson that I had to learn for myself, that I'm talking with my kids a lot now, that they're like in that sort of like preteen, teenage, where like you can only control your response. You can't control other people's actions. Right. So like, you know, if you have a coach that is like coming down on you, that's on you. How can you handle that? Like, is this your mistake? Can you level up, et cetera? But I think that, like you're saying, it's a life lesson to be like, okay, if something really pisses you off or like, or low level irks you, what are you going to do about it?
Yeah. And stop complaining about it and do something. And I mean, sometimes we do have those friends that just let us complain, and you need both, right?
Yes.
And like also being older and understanding that every person in your life serves a different purpose at some level. Like you have the friend that like tells you the truth. You have the friend that like says, you go girl, whatever, just your cheerleader. And you know, whatever, those different roles are important. And it's good to have those type of different people in your life to like kind of give you what you need when you need it.
Yeah.
But also like, be like, okay, that's not right.
Yeah.
You're wrong on that one. Yeah. Or this is my perspective. And this is what my recommendation is for you to set yourself course correct on it.
I'm obsessed with that. It's so true. And that is like so part of It Takes a Village. It really does. But isn't it amazing how we like call people for different reasons? You're like, I just want someone to tell me I'm pretty. So I'm
right. If you want someone to tell you you're right, then there's certain people to talk to. And then sometimes you might farm out that same situation to the person that tells you the truth. And if she says you're right, then you're like, I'm right.
I'm really right.
I'm really right. Because there are certain people that, you know, they'll call you out. And I also like, while you said like sitting in the uncomfortable, when you ask those questions, you kind of already know.
Yeah.
But if you're looking for the validation and they, you know, tell you you're a jerk, then you're a jerk.
You're a jerk. And
fix
it. Fix it.
And I do kind of say to my kids, it's okay to just be like, I was a jerk. Like, it doesn't give you a reason to be a jerk, but like, if you're a jerk, just say you're a jerk. Like, it's really not that big of a deal to admit you are wrong.
Actually, it is like the greatest thing that you can do to be like, oops, I was a jerk. I messed up. My bad. Here's how I'm going to do better. Yeah. Like that is the kind of humans that I'm trying to raise, because we're all going to screw up a million trillion times.
My God. Like I had a client yesterday, a call that's for something next week. And I honestly just dropped the ball. The email slid through. I mean, I get a lot of emails. Like it wasn't intentional. And I did a call and I said, I'm really sorry.
Yeah.
Here's my suggestions. And I'm going to give you this little extra bump just because I love you and I love your mission. And she was like, great. And that's the end of it.
Yep.
Right? Just say sorry. It wasn't that hard. I mean, and I was sorry, and I was even more sorry because it was a great order and I didn't have like, now I'm rushed, you know, this weekend to get it done. But I was more sorry that like, I was mad at myself that I dropped the ball. I just can't possibly do it all.
And you're human. Humans are going to human.
But it feels like you're not allowed to.
I know. But then how many times, and has anyone ever come to you and said, well, this is probably too broad of a sweeping statement, but majority, when someone comes to you and is like, I'm sorry, I screwed up. Like to me, that will be punny. Like just lets the air out of the balloon. Mm-hmm. I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
That's all I needed.
Just say you're sorry.
Just say you're sorry. And we'll just do better next time. Like,
because I mean, these are relationships I'm planning to have for a long time.
Yeah.
And it's
Definitely.
impossible to think that over a course of a relationship that there are not going to be moments where we have to say we're sorry. We're not going to just like not be in a
Right.
relationship or in a business situation, or we're not going to do orders together.
Yeah. Right.
I mean, we're not, that's crazy, right?
We're not breaking up.
We're not just going to just drop off the planet. So,
Right.
yeah.
1,000%. Okay. So I'm obsessed with how candid you've been about what it is seriously like to run a business. What is it about all the crazy? I mean, like, we know that each day has some level of shitstorm. What is it that brings you joy? What is it that keeps you coming back every day? Why do you freaking love what you do?
I mean, there's lots of aspects, but I mean, I love the visuals. I love to see things. And I think, but maybe this is like a mom statement, but like in momming, like it's never over.
Yeah.
Like there's never a finish line. Like you finish the laundry and you put it all in the basket and it's like more laundry.
Mm-hmm.
These are like little big projects, but like they have a vision. They have a purpose. We do it and then it's over and we stand back.
Ooh,
you know what I mean? Like it has like a life cycle and it's pretty quick. So there's a lot of like, if it didn't work, it's not like we have to keep doing it. Like we can try it. It's something different next time. So I kind of like that the life cycle of an event or a balloon activation or whatever, brand activation. I like the beginning to the end because there is an end.
Yeah.
And if you did a really good job, there's probably another new beginning, but it's probably a totally different project.
Yeah.
I rarely have anyone that comes to me and says, just do the same thing on the first of every month. Like that's just not it.
That's got to fuel your creative soul so much.
It does.
To be able to be like, everything's got to feel a little bit of a blank slate. I'm sure it's informed from other projects that you've done or inspired by other projects that you've done, but that feels like that must be something that really fuels your creative bucket. And I feel like you've talked about how you absolutely love the teams that you get to work with and the relationships that you get to make.
Well, and I think I'm fun. I mean,
you're super fun.
It's not like I'm like doing these calls and I'm always like trying to take these, like, sometimes when they're like more like brand people or like business people, they're like, maybe a little bit less fun. Mm-hmm. And I was like, we can do balloons. Like I get excited. I'm like, what if we did this? What if we did this? And I feel like if you can like bring the energy and get people excited, I mean, those are the kind of relationships that stay and they keep calling you because they like the energy. They like the crazy. I mean, I don't know that anyone's job was like, oh, I'm going to order balloons, but, or I'm going to be the event person that has to hire somebody. But I think, I do thrive on those relationships and knowing that like, these are people that are not just like a business acquaintance, but I do feel like I'm friendly with almost all of them or in my text chains now. And they see something or they'll see a funny TikTok and they'll send it to me because I feel like we know each other. Like they know like who I am because I don't just come in there and plop it down and walk out the door.
I think that's so awesome. And that's such a good point for entrepreneurs to remember that even if you are selling products, your brand is so much of you and the relationships that you make. And
it's a double-edged sword though, right? Yeah. It's you. So like people in my household might be like, why are you going back there at 11:30 to pick all that up? Can't somebody else do it? Yeah, they can, but that's the last touch point with the client.
Yeah.
And it's the end of the night and they're probably most 99% of the time so happy with the way that their event went or whatever it is. And to see them at the end, they're like, thank you so much for what you did. And I'm going to call you on Monday with this new project. Like whatever it is, like I don't want a person to go in there and do that. I want that conversation. And I mean, you don't have to do it every time, but it is helpful and it does cement those relationships. What they say is like easier to keep a client than it is to get a new one. Like I want long-term relationships. I want people that call me and just say, do it.
Yep, absolutely. God, that's such a good point. And you don't really learn those things until you live those things, I'm sure.
100. Yeah. I mean, I certainly don't want to be going somewhere at 11 o'clock at night doing it, but
after a full day of install.
But there are some aspects of it. And there's certainly circumstances in which it really makes a difference. Mm. And I think also, a lot of these people think I have this like team of elves behind me doing all this work. No,
really. It's
like one elf.
Yeah.
Me and my assistant.
Yeah.
It's just us, the two of us.
Really just the two of you. I imagined you with many, many elves.
Just the two of us.
Just the two of us.
Just us.
Yeah. Oh my God. Dang, girl. Okay. What is one of the craziest installs that you've ever done?
Craziest.
Yeah. Or most memorable?
Well, the most memorable is always going to be the year we went to the Super Bowl. Even though when I go back and look at those balloons,
Yeah.
I'm not like, I look at it, I'm like, oh, I could have done those better. But that, you know, those were like the most photographed balloons. The Who Day at the airport was like, people are like, I'm going to go to the airport and get pictures of your balloons. I'm like, okay, thanks.
Thank you.
But I also want to be like, can I tell you how to take the picture? Because can you please stop taking pictures? Like, just kidding.
You're like, but I'm not a control freak. I'm not. I'm literally not.
Or like somebody would send me a picture and I'd like edit it like and make it all look perfect. And they're like, that does not the picture I sent you. I'm like, well, it's the smoke and mirrors of the internet. So sorry.
Yep.
But at the same time, like when you can like post a bad picture, like, I mean, come on, like
right.
But the most memorable ones are usually the ones that had some sort of like mission to them. Like we do a thing at Balloon Bombed where sometimes we will engage volunteers from an organization, especially nonprofits who don't have a giant budget, but they want like big impact. So we did this with HRC, we did it with Ronald McDonald House, and they basically blow the balloons and then we do all the activating and like putting them together and hanging them. But just that like little bit of time, like 10 hours of blowing balloons for like 5 volunteers, like the kind where you like fill an entire room all the way up to the ceiling. And then we all stand back and realize that it was like a team effort.
That's cool.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. The last one we did was Ronald McDonald House. They sent, it's like a service fraternity at UC. They sent me some amazing college blowers.
Yeah. You're like, okay, well now I'm putting that in my pocket.
It just was fun. And I think they were like at the end, they just sat there and they were just blowing up balloons for hours and hours at the convention center. And at the end, they were like, I'm sure they sent pictures to their parents. I helped do this.
Yeah.
So like, those are the kind of things that like are the most memorable for me because I'm still a mom.
Yeah.
And like at some level it was like teaching and it was collaborative and we built something bigger than any one person could build. Like no one could do that by themselves.
Yeah.
And that is kind of fun.
That's really fun.
And it was visual and it looked good and it enhanced an event that was important. So, I mean, to me, like those are all the pieces that feel like, okay, that was really worth the time.
Yeah. God, that's so cool. That's so cool. What are like, are you mostly corporate events now?
I would say 80% corporate. And we do some social events, but again, it's hard because social events are usually on the weekends and a lot of venues are, with a lot of timing. The logistics of social events are very tough. Corporate's usually during the week and I love it. Nothing would make me happier than showing up to a skyscraper at 9:00 on a Tuesday.
Yeah.
So that's really my goal.
From a business perspective, like from what I'm finding is like corporate events have better budgets too.
They have better budgets. I won't say that they have the most creative vision.
True.
But I do feel like it's that good challenge of being like, I can do something different than you're used to. Let's just try. And I would say 90% of the time, like they bite.
Yeah.
Because they've just never been told that this is something else that can be.
Yeah. A possibility. And I'm sure with maybe like a more toned down palette or whatever it may be, the impact is what was already great is even greater. Yeah. I can only imagine because you're like, no, I am the pizzazz.
I'm going to bring it.
Bring it.
But it's interesting perspective though, because some brands would say like, we need you to activate our brand. And I would say like, it's so different than being the main event. Like the product is the main event. Yeah. And you're supportive of the product versus like you are the product.
Yeah. Ooh, good point.
So that's like a difference in like working with corporate versus like a social event. A social event, it's an entrance.
Yeah.
But in a corporate event,
photo op. Yeah.
In a corporate event, you're there to support visually. You're not usually the visual.
Oh. Ooh, I'd have to sit with that one for a second and be like, okay.
But it was an interesting way of like turning that point. And I'm hoping at some point to just really keep continuing to work with brands because that really does bring me joy. And if I had to like go back to school and like think about how I would have done education differently, I probably would have done some marketing or like branding work. And I would have focused a little bit more on design because I think that is so fun.
Girl, you were literally born for this. And that brings me to my point. Like one of the things I'm obsessed with of like one of the insights that I've gained on this show is that the women who are the happiest, most driven, most successful are people who are doing something that is a natural extension of their gifts. And you are like born
Born to brand.
Born to brand. But like, you're so creative. You're so passionate about design. Like, you love thinking about everything from like a 360 perspective in terms of like bringing together an event or supporting a brand or whatever it may be. Don't you feel like what a gift that this comes so naturally to you, and that the parts that don't, but like the main event of your main event absolutely does.
I love it. I mean, I do. I'm so grateful.
Yeah. And like, let's get woo woo for one sec, because it's my fave, but like, when you are doing something that is a natural extension of who you are, don't you feel like that flow state where you're just like, I am like, you feel so happy, you feel so centered, you feel so calm, even though you are buzzing around wiping smoothie off the balloons. Like, you're just like, this is my jam. This is it. And like, it is such a gift to be able to tap into that every day in some way, shape, or form.
So the craziest thing, I was in Palm Springs last month for the Women's Creative Conference.
Ooh, cool.
And it's really for women like 40 to 60.
Cool.
So it's like old people like us.
Yeah.
I'm not saying you're old.
I'm
just
43.
Saying,
I'm in there.
I'm just saying it was everyone had their readers
I wear readers.
Yeah. And we were all just kind of talking about, you know, the difference between being a 30-year-old creative and being a 46-year-old creative, and how most successful female businesses are born after age 43.
Holy shit.
Like, we're just getting started.
Just getting started.
Hell yeah. Just getting started.
Yeah.
But like, it actually kind of scared me a little bit.
Why?
Because I feel like,
are you tired?
I'm so tired. But I am just now figuring it out. Like, I mean, figuring it out for work. I'm not, the other stuff, 100% not figured out.
Yeah.
And even when you think you have it figured out, just like kids, when it's quiet, there's something bad brewing.
Right.
But from like a business perspective, I do feel like I'm figuring it out, and I really love it. And I am tired, but at the same time, I'm invigorated.
Yeah.
But it's like, you know, the world keeps telling you like, get bigger, go girl boss, you know, whatever. Like, I don't even know like how to stop though.
Yeah.
You know, like, I don't know how to go on vacation. Like, I don't know how to like do those things. I'm working on it. And it's a conscious effort to figure out those pieces, but I am so grateful to have it. But at the same time, like, I just figured it out.
Yeah.
And I'm 46.
Yeah.
Like, damn. Okay. So like, how long am I going to do this? And that also goes to like, what am I going to do with it someday? Like, what am I just going to like not do it anymore?
I mean, it is all your choice. So like, I absolutely used to be that like bigger, better, like more. And then life happened. And by circumstance, I am a single mom of 4, and I choose and have to I really only work 20 hours a week. So when I go to scale this business, it is at a clip that is so much slower than I have ever functioned
worked
at
in your life.
Yeah. And I have to be so choiceful, and I have to try so hard not to make mistakes, even knowing that I will still make mistakes, you know, and it's just as hard as it is to, because I really just, you know, you could blow it out of the water if you just put like 60 hours in a week. I'm like
60, 80.
Right. And I'm just like, I can't at this stage. Who knows? Maybe when my kids go to college, I'm going to work 80 hours a week because I love this so much. But for now, I only really have the capacity to do it 20 hours a week. And like, it has been, again, such a life assignment to scale down in that way. So I can see you being
I might
like,
need to learn from you a little bit, because I mean, that I struggle with it so much. And like, it's on me. And I am doing better about hiring. I am doing better about letting go. I am doing better about asking for help. But that's really tough.
It's
for
really
me.
tough.
And my brand has been built around me and like my creativity. So it's really hard to be like, well, it'll probably be fine the way you do it.
Yeah.
But please do it this way.
But like, literally, please just execute it flawlessly, because that is part of your brand. I think, who knows, but maybe like it would be being really choiceful about like almost like revenue streams that you go down. So maybe really just stick to the brand and whatever, or like you just get choiceful about who you work with, or
as you grow, there's the other piece. Like, if you called me tomorrow to do like $100 balloon thing in your living room, I might have to say no, but I would feel like I had to because of our relationship. Totally. So there's also the piece of the people that supported you so heavily, like on your journey, that you want to continue to help.
Yeah.
But at some point you really do have to be like, I don't do that anymore. Like, so, and that's the like the crutch of like having personal relationships with your clients.
Yes.
Like, and finding like bonding between them and really enjoying their company. And like all of it is that like, when they ask you for something, it's not just like a website order where you're like out of stock, out of stock.
Yeah.
I'm not out of stock.
Right.
Even though I'm literally out of stock.
Yeah.
I'm like, well, I'm going to have to help you and figure that one out.
Yeah. God.
So that's the other piece of like making those connections like too good.
Yeah.
Like then you feel guilty. And then it's like that business guilt.
Hey, fellow boss babe, if you're craving less time on social because it feels like you're constantly in your comments and DMs trying to respond back to your potential customers, I totally get it. When I had my e-commerce business, I felt like I checked Instagram every 5 minutes. But what if there was a smarter, easier way to connect with your audience? Good news, there is. Let me introduce you to ManyChat, my go-to tool for automating messages on Instagram, Facebook, and even text. With ManyChat, you can set up automated conversations in minutes. No tech headaches, no coding required. Trust me, if I can figure it out, so can you. It's perfect for handling links to your offers, growing your list with DM keywords, and even booking clients literally while you sleep. It's efficient, super user-friendly, and honestly, it's like having a virtual assistant built right into your DMs. And the best part? Because you're a friend of the Write Your Own Story podcast, you can try it totally free for your first month. Just use the link in the show notes. Is there anything better than to test something for your business for an entire month with no cost attached? It's my favorite. So if you're ready to save time, respond faster, and turn followers into clients, tap the link in the show notes and give ManyChat a try for free. First month's on me. Grab the offer today and go enjoy a much needed break from your phone. You deserve it. When we're talking about like, okay, how are you these personal relationships, and like one of the hardest things I have found in life and in business is boundaries. Like that word makes me so sweaty. Having to say no makes me so sweaty. Having to let someone down makes me so sweaty. Having to have some form of confrontation, whether it be peaceful or just saying, it's just all awful. It's horrible. It's horrible, but it's a life skill. It's an actual life skill. And like, I'll never forget the first time I was, when I was on the phone with my therapist, and she was like, okay, she was like, let's talk about asking someone for what you want. And I was like, huh?
What do you mean?
What do you mean? And then I literally, it was over Zoom, and she was like, okay, so just like, let's go through an exercise. What do you want? Why do you want it? What do you need? How would you feel? I got so sweaty and I was like, I can't do this. And I hung up the phone. She was like, why don't you do this over the next week and we can regroup next week? Cause I was like, I can't do this. I was so uncomfortable. Now I'm like getting in the groove. I'm not saying I'm great at it, but I'm saying I've grown. But it also very much so applies to business. It's also for someone who has had to hustle and who has hustled as much as you have, it's really hard to turn down money.
Yeah.
I'm just going to say it. It's really hard to turn down an opportunity to make money.
Especially when you know that like there's a lot of money we leave on the table. And I don't want to do that because I also feel like with any business, like you don't know when like the tide's going to turn. Like, I mean, I just don't know. I mean, I'm grateful and I do feel like my skill set is wide enough, but at the same time, like it's hot.
Yeah.
Right. Like I want to hit it while it's hot, but at the other time, like if I'm doing that again, like I add one more piece or I see a new product or whatever, it's taking away from something else. So like there's only so many balls you can juggle. And I'm for sure maxed out on juggling.
Right. And like, and then it's like the whole age old question, like, how do you take care of yourself? What do you do?
Well, you don't really.
Yeah.
I mean, you don't, you have to, I mean, anyone who's saying that they are is lying. Yeah. They're like literally dirty liars.
Right. Dirty liars.
Acting like they have it all together.
Yeah.
And
it's so true. I mean, I play tennis. It is the most efficient way that I can move my body, be social, play a sport. I love to play sports. And it's kind of like within a time constraint.
Right. Be mindful of the time you have and utilize it. That's why people are like, oh, I love to golf. I was like, well, I mean, golf is for people that don't have anything to do because there's no way. I'm not ripping on golf. I mean, golf's amazing, but like, it's not really exercise because driving the cart's the most fun part about golfing.
Plus the alcohol.
And you're there for hours and hours and hours. Then you have to work out before or after. Like that's not really like that's not in place of.
But even the 2 hours that I play tennis, you know, on match day or whatever, I'm like, oh my God, that only gives me like an hour and a half to work that day before the kids come home.
It's not enough time in the
No.
day.
And then by the time life is life, and now it's Thursday and Friday and I have all this catch up to do, I'm also super tired.
And you start to get that anxiety creeping in
Mhm.
of like, or you think that you're pretty much caught up, and then you start getting these messages from people that are like, don't forget about me or whatever. And you're
The
like,
laundry.
you're like, I didn't forget about you.
Yeah.
And like anyone who knows me knows I am not going to drop the ball. I am going to get it done.
Yeah. With
But
excellence.
I hope so. But at the other point, like I'm probably sacrificing something else to get it done. And that feels horrible too. Like the getting it done feels great, but then like the sacrifice feels horrible. So it's just like, I think that roller coaster, and people will be like, oh, you know, that was so amazing. I'm like, yeah, I mean, I took that 10 minutes to admire it. And then we had to go into like triage on everything else, which was not fun or good or happy.
No. So that brings me into like a natural pivot around motherhood. So it's like when you are, you know, driving the kids to all their activities and you have made an actual fresh meal that goes on the table, which does not happen for me very often. And then you're like, okay, I'm present. I'm killing it. I am super mom. 74 emails have come in. You know, you could have worked on the timeline for one project. Like the anxiety just starts to creep in as well.
So fast.
So like how do you do the motherhood part? Especially I want to ask that knowing that you have one in college and one that's a junior, like you are, you know, at the end of the beings in the household stage. What impact has that had on you both in life and in work?
It's so crazy. I mean,
I can't imagine.
The transition of thinking about it that way is insane.
Really?
Like as having a college freshman, as soon as he was gone, like that time filled right back up. Like it wasn't it. People are like, oh, you find ways to fill your time. Like you don't ever have to think when you're an empty nester, like what will I do all day? I mean, I'm not there yet, but I do have a junior who drives, who's able to go to the fresh market and buy charcuterie if that's what she wants. Like we don't need, like she doesn't need the day to day, like driving. Like I have no tasks like that really. The day just fills right back up. If you are a small business owner, an entrepreneur, like you just spend more time writing emails, you take on more jobs. Like it's not a conscious thing. It just goes.
That's wild.
Like the water fills out of here and it just fills right back in from the other side. Like in aggressively. So the hardest part is what happens when something happens in your home and you need to make more time again. Well, you lose your shit. You just lose your shit. You spin out and you just lose it because you have filled that time and you filled it with something that brings you joy. And it's a commitment, right? Like business is a commitment. I committed to the client. I'm going to do it. So I'm going to do it. And I don't like to let go. And I also don't, maybe I could find someone to do it, but I also want the money and I also want the relationship. And what if the other person does it better than me? Stupid, but like,
that's honest.
But like, what if they like them better? I mean, I can't imagine. No, but like, what if I, you know, give it to another person and then they do it. And then like the next time they don't call me. Silly stuff. But I mean, I spent a lot of time building those relationships. So what happens in your life when something goes wrong? Like, how do you manage all of it? And the answer is like, you really did. You don't. I mean, you just have to like take it one day at a time and cry and get it all out and figure it out and ask for help. And, you know that we always get through it. Like, you know, we get through hard things, but how you and you know, it's not helping people like, oh, it's gonna be okay, just calm down, just don't worry about it.
Don't ever tell a woman to calm down,
and don't tell me to don't worry about it. I'm gonna fucking worry about it because I have all these people that need me, even down to the dogs. Like you know, like we have a dog who's old and I worry about her, and every day I look at her and I'm like, are you alive? You know, like I have stress about that because I know that if something were to happen to her, like it's going to throw another wrench in all these pieces. And, you know, it's tough. It's really tough, especially when your career is based around days and times. Like I can't just push project a month. Like the client's doing it then. Like that's why they hired you to do it for that date and that time. So, I mean, it's such an honest answer to the fact that like life continues to happen and things come out of left field. And like, sometimes there's just absolutely no graceful way to handle it. And you just have to lose it.
Yeah. Lose your shit.
Lose it.
Yeah.
So, like the difference between like having the kids gone, I mean, it just fills with business. I mean, it doesn't have to.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to figure out a way to like make more time for myself and for my relationship. It's hard. I'm just saying I'm not doing it right by any means. I don't know how to do it. And I actually don't know who's doing it right.
Yeah.
Like when I look at other people, I'm like, well, if you were to say, well, who is doing it right? Like, could you call her?
Yeah.
Or call him? Like, who's crushing it? If no one.
It is, it's so true. And what is right for one set of people is not right for the next, and it's just, I think about that all the time when people are, like if I think about relationships and, I'm coming out of a divorce and like thinking about relationships, I'm always like, what is my model to like look at and be like, how did they do it? And I'm like, to the same point, I'm like, I don't know.
There is no one. There's no one that's doing it perfect. And I think like, I mean, if we're not totally losing our minds and our heads aren't like have our brains are spilling out of our ears, then we're probably doing okay.
Yeah. Yeah. And it is also just a sign that you care so much. You want to be able to do it all. You want to be able to take care of whatever's going on at home. You want to be like the loving dog mom to the dog that, is on their last couple of years. You want to be the businesswoman that is in your heart. Like all of those are true things of who you are.
And I do think you can be all of those things at the same time.
Yeah.
It's just that like, that doesn't come without like your heart being like literally like bashed with a sledgehammer at night thinking like, how am I going to do all these things? Like I always do it. Like sometimes the idea of thinking about like what you have to do is much more daunting than doing the things themselves. So I do try to like make a lot of lists, and I have my own like weird way of like making myself feel good about like getting things done.
Yeah.
But at the same time, like,
I know. And the lists are just like the laundry.
Yeah.
You check something off.
Another thing just pops right back on. As soon as one event has been invoiced and, we put the file away and I take everything off my desktop and I put it into the file and then I drop it into the archives, another one just opens up. There's no like, and again, that is a choice.
Yeah.
I know I'm choosing that.
Yeah.
So I don't ever want to like, I'm not complaining. It's just a lot because
being honest.
There are plenty of people that like have careers and are moms and are married and have dogs and have play tennis and have social relationships and, whatever, have like are fit or whatever it is and still like to, garden. Like, I don't know how everybody does all those things. I mean, God, last year, my garden looked like, it was like something horrible. And I had the landscaper guy just come and lay sod over it. And I know my mom was so mortified.
Really? I don't even have a garden.
I don't have time to keep a garden.
Right. And it's just not a priority for you right now.
You can go to the fresh market. You can go to the Madeira farmer's market and get great produce that I'm going to let probably grow into some weird mold
thing. Same.
I'm not doing that anymore. Like we're past the gardening. We're not doing it. Yeah. I felt like it was fun for a minute, but I'm not doing it. So,
and that's like my thing is like, you don't have to do it. If it's not filling you up, if it's not filling your bucket, don't do it. Don't do it just because everybody else got a garden during COVID and it's like pretty amazing to put food from your garden onto your table and you feel like, I don't know, a Martha Stewart level queen. But if that brings you so much joy, you should put on your Crocs and get out there and get after it. But if you wake up one day and you're like, honestly, no, this doesn't bring me that much joy anymore, you don't have to
lay sod on it. You can do it. You can just lay sod on it. And now it's like it never happened.
It's never happened. Right. And you can do other things. Your business brings you so much joy and so much satisfaction and so much purpose right now. Why wouldn't you just lean into it?
But don't ask anyone in my family if I'm leaning into it, because they'd be like, I'm like leaning like this, like laying into it.
You're like, I'm drowning face down in it, but it's fine. Okay. So you had mentioned like, one day, what am I going to do? And we had talked a little bit off camera about this notion of legacy and as it relates to kids leaving for school and college. And I don't know, like you said, like you were an event planner and designer and facilitator, and then balloons came along and now you're like Queen Balloon Lady with your balloon people at your balloon conferences that I'm going to put on sunglasses and a hat and walk right into these because I want to be a part of this community.
I'll send you some video of some of the last balloon conference.
Please. I need
severely
to see
unhinged and amazing.
Unhinged and amazing is my favorite kind of content.
But to even know that there's like those things out there, but like that to know, but to find community is amazing. And, we were talking off camera about, like what's next and what's a legacy and why, why are you doing all this? Mm-hmm. I think for some people would just that know me personally, or family or close friends might be like, well, you don't have to do it like that. Well, yeah, I do. Mm-hmm. I have to do it. The reason why you have a business and the reason why you push yourself is not always for money.
Right.
It's not always for the perfect Instagram post, but sometimes it's just about something that you need for yourself to know that you did something in your life. Yes, raising children is enough.
Mm-hmm. Yes, it is.
It's enough. But you can still want those other things for yourself, and you can still want to one day be remember when I did this? And your kids will say funny things my mom used to fill our basement all the way to the top with her balloons, and her assistant would come over and my friends would be like, what's happening in the basement? And they'd go down and they'd be like, whoa, Mrs. Blatt, what in the hell is going on down here? And I mean, there's some funny stuff that's happened. And I think those stories are going to resurface someday, and we're all going to laugh about them.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's a really happy memory to think about, what my mom, what did I do? Yeah. What did I do? What are some of the things that were innovative that I did? And what were some of the things that were funny that I did, and brands that I worked with? And we certainly have no lack of photographic evidence of the things that we do now in this, in this day and age.
So true.
To go back and look at, when I'm 70 years old, the pictures of me holding a giant bag of balloon ice, it's going to be some funny content.
It is going to be so funny. Think about all the things that you've taught your kids and your community by example. It is okay and wonderful to be ambitious. Some people truly, and it is absolutely enough to stay home. And that is the hardest job. First of all, I had to go back to work because staying home was way harder than I could handle. I was like, this is the hardest job I've ever done. I have to go back to work. So I think that there is so much, whatever it is that fills you up, you give people the permission to do it. You give your kids the permission to be ambitious, to be creative, to know the value of relationships, to love something that isn't directly tied to your family. I think it is an amazing legacy and example to leave behind.
I mean, I hope so.
I
I hope that it won't just be a monetary gift to my children someday and to their children. I hope it's not just that. I mean, I hope it's inspiring. And I mean, I think for my own daughter, I just, and for my son who, wants to be a finance bro or whatever, but my daughter's super creative. And I keep telling her don't discount that, because looking at a career path just for financial gain is the wrong message. I'm telling you,
I couldn't agree more.
You can find happiness doing something that you love, but you can also find money in it.
Absolutely.
It's okay to find, it might take a minute, but you can find a job that fulfills you and pays your bills. I know you can.
Yeah.
And just, I don't know. I mean, I guess I can see those that want more of just put a stamp on it kind of day job, and then they fill their cup some other way. But the career can be that.
Yeah.
And it might be at 46, just figuring it out. But I think it's okay to do it that way if you want to. And if you don't want to, that's cool.
Yeah.
But it is a path.
It is a path. It is absolutely a path. I feel like I've talked to so many amazing women on this couch that have been like, I just really love to do this. So I just kind of turned it into a business. And I'm like, there you go. And I just think it's so much. I love that for your daughter, where you're don't get sucked into a mold. If you really, truly are such a creative person, and that's what lights your heart on fire. And maybe for your son, the mold of the finance world is going to be perfect for him. Who knows? Because I don't know about you, but my kids are all so vastly different.
Oh,
even my twins,
polar opposites. Yeah.
Even my twins. So yeah, I think it's awesome. And
it's also okay to change your mind.
Yes.
For the love of God, as someone who has a high school junior, what do you want to do? What do you want to do? What do you want to do? What's your major? Oh my God, calm down.
Right.
She doesn't know yet.
Yeah. God, how are you supposed to know? She's how old?
I mean, she's 17. I'm 46, and I just now figuring it out.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I think that it's, I'm there's that fine line between, there's a lot of paths, but let's not take every path. Let's pick one and sit with it for a while.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it's okay to change your path. And so all these messages get super confusing when you're 17.
Yeah. God,
and this whole well, you have to apply to this major and this major. And I'm like, oh my God,
Yeah.
Just go to college, be a communications major, have a lot of fun, come out with a degree and figure out what makes you happy. And then let's just say you even do find a path that makes you happy. You might not even be able to get a job in it.
Right.
So you might have to, come work for mom for a little bit.
Yep. Get scrappy. I think that's so freaking true. I remember sitting in my corporate seat for so long and being like, well, this is what I said I was going to do. And I'm really good at it. So I'm going to have to keep doing it. And then one day I was like, no more. You don't have to do what you said you were going to do from the jump. You can be whatever.
And who's paying attention anyway?
Literally. Thank you for saying that. Nobody cares.
Well, that's like when I'm like posting stuff on like social media and I'm like looking at it and I'm like, oh my God, nobody cares. Like literally nobody is looking at it the way that you look at it.
No one's looking at it the way you look at it. No, absolutely
nobody
not.
is.
No. This has been I'm telling you, I'm smiling from the inside out. This has been so fun. I would like to be on all of your entrepreneur calls. It makes me want to build podcast community for sure. That like really inspires me. I'm going to go find more community.
There are definitely people out there. And then you can be like, do you know what happened on my podcast today? And people will be like, no way.
Yeah. Right.
And then they're going to share funny stories. And then it's going to inspire you to do something because somebody's going to have done something that you're like, I could do.
Yep. Okay, fine. I'm going to go build a whole community of podcasters. That makes me so happy.
And then at your convention, I'll do some cool balloon activations.
Yes. It'll be on brand. It'll be
on brand.
Yes,
100%.
It will. Oh my God. This has been so amazing. You guys, you have to follow her on social just to get like a hardcore dose of joy and vibrancy. And it's super interesting. And to see all the different events that are happening in town. And I love that your range is from corporate to social to you can it started with Balloon Arch in my living room.
Oh my gosh. It's been a little bit of a glow up, but I still, I would still do Balloon Arch in your living room.
I know you would. Thank you. But I'm not going to ask you for one because I'm going to be like, no, girl, go take that corporate job. Go get them. Okay. Where can people follow you? How can people follow along? How can they get into your world? Because it's too much fun.
Come to my Instagram. That's where the fun stuff happens. And I mean, while I love my feed, the stories are really where click on the stories because that's where we're riding, mowing vacuum cleaners through the halls of Music Hall, or literally the wind took all the balloons off the side of a bridge. That's where the funny stuff happens.
Oh
I mean,
God.
The feed is refined and I've curated it, but that's not always where the reality sits. So if you want to just see the pretty, then sit in the feed. But if you want to see the unhinged action of the real behind the scenes, come to the stories because that's where it's a little bit more real, unfiltered. I mean, there's some pretty stuff in there too, but that's where you really kind of get the true
behind the scenes,
the true behind the scenes.
Yeah. Oh my God. I love this. It inspires me more. I never think to throw up my camera, but I should have been you should have seen me doing the dishes in my kitchen before you're about to walk in, before we're going to come up here and record the podcast.
But those are the kind of people though, that when you see them in those kind of situations, they're your people.
Yeah.
Because I'm okay at 46 being able to say I don't have it all together.
Yeah.
A 30-year-old me sitting here probably would have been a lot different. I probably would have worn lip gloss. I didn't put any on. I tried on 2 different shirts today and I was like, okay. I mean, I'm just saying I didn't overthink it at a level that a, past version of myself might have. And I mean, I think that doesn't mean I don't care. It just means I'm a little bit more comfortable.
Yeah.
So I hope everyone, can feel that way about something, to find some area where they're so comfortable where they can let it be the honest truth, because God damn it. I don't know. I need to sit with real people. I can't do that other side anymore.
No, it's my body literally has an allergic reaction to bullshit.
I can't do it. And I'll call you out on it, or I'll just, gently push away from people like that. I just don't want that anymore.
Mm-mm. I think it's one of my favorite parts about being in my 40s is that I let so much go. That's not I'm not, well, some days I'm look like a whole full homeless sweatpants, hooded sweatshirt, way past hair wash day. I don't mean that, but you were saying, to be a lot of stuff just doesn't matter.
Would it have mattered if I went and bought a new shirt for this?
No.
It would not have mattered. I'm it just doesn't matter.
I can assure you for not even a millisecond did I think, I wonder why she doesn't have any lip gloss on.
But I mean, it's just interesting how if you can think about yourself and how you've changed and how you've, evolved and morphed, I don't know. I feel like that feels good to be able to see your own journey.
Yeah.
And from the, janky balloon arch I did for my kids, I literally think it was like dollar store balloons. I'll have to go back and dig it out.
Yes,
it was
please.
Suspect, to say the least, to feeling really comfortable with a big brand activation and to like doing something without lipstick. Like, I know I never was a lipstick girl to begin with, but like, I just feel like I'm comfortable. You know what I look like. I mean,
yeah. I love it. I absolutely love it. Your candid nature, your hilarious, amazing energy has been an absolute gift today. And like, you just also have me so revved up about being a business owner and being a businesswoman. It feels so good. And you are such a great example for the city and for those who are watching and cheering for you, because there's so many of us out here.
Well, thank you for saying that, because sometimes you just need to hear it, because I can tell you every day there are aspects of my day where I feel that, and then other aspects, maybe what's even in the same 15-minute period where I like literally don't feel that.
Yeah.
And I'm debating like, I'm done. I'm quitting. I'm not doing it anymore. I'm done. Whatever. I'm just going to be at home now, and I'm going to be like, I don't know. I'm going to get that garden going again.
Rip up that. And then your phone rings and you're like, hi, this is Chrissie.
And you're like, hey, you need a balloon activation next week at your business office. Oh, you have a giant budget. Okay. I'll be right there.
Okay. I'm back.
I'm feeling better. Yeah. It really kind of is like that.
Yeah.
So
I know. Yeah. I hear you. Oh my God, you guys. I cannot wait for everyone to go check out her socials, but also I have a feeling this one is going to get downloaded and shared a bajillion times, because this has been the absolute best, Chrissie.
And only a few bleeps.
Honestly, they've been probably more mine than yours. I really thought you were going to bring the heat on the F-bombs.
I tried to keep it under wraps. It was my one.
Boo. I'm just kidding. You're amazing. Oh, you guys, this has been an absolute blast. Please share with everyone else who's an entrepreneur out there, so they know that they are not alone with everything that they struggle with, and that they should sit in their joy and continue to harvest it and sift it and dig for it, because it is out there.
100%.
And that's why we do what we do, right?
That's why we're doing it.
That's why we're doing the thing. All right, you guys. Thanks everyone for listening, and we'll catch you next time. Well, that's the end of this episode, but promise me, you won't stop here with whatever it is you're feeling or dreaming about. I hope you leave today feeling empowered to live life just as you see fit. If this podcast was helpful to you, it would mean the world to me if you could leave a review on whatever platform you're listening on. I genuinely just want to help women live the life they dream about. So if this type of content tracks with you, subscribe to this podcast or visit our website, writeyourownsstory.co, to download digital courses or to grab a journal and a mug to just dream in and dream with. It's your life, lady. Do you. And just remember, I'm rooting for you, and you've totally got this.